Greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Michael. It is Tuesday morning. It is November. What day is it? It is November 9th. And we are so happy to have you on Strada Live. What is it? It's the 11th. I don't know why. This is an interesting bug. There's a bug. What do you know with Apple? And my camera says it's the 9th on my calendar whenever it's plugged into my computer. And so that's not my fault, but it is a bug that I noticed. So it is November 11th. It is Strada Live. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. And if you saw my first slide, I even go back to it. Can I go back to it? We've got a new product update today. And so I've got a new update to something to show you. It's really exciting. But it's important that we also show you that other people are here. We're here to help. You got my email. I'm always available. Definitely want to help you out. I've got some partners that are helping us do this as well. And I can answer your questions. And these sessions are every Tuesday so that we can go over the product, go over workflow, go over the roadmap, go over the features, and discuss new things that are coming out. And we had something just drop a few days ago, and I'm going to take you through it. It's really, really nice. It's really slick. And so if you provide any questions, you can write on YouTube, Instagram. I can see those and I can respond to them. So please respond with your questions. Now, before I get going, have you been seeing the latest news? Now, this article shouldn't surprise anyone. And there are lots of articles like this that have been piling up over years. But this one is almost its own flavor of bad. Box office massacre. October revenue falls to 27-year low, which is interesting because another statistic that we talked about a few weeks ago is that the rental of sound stages in Los Angeles is down to a 30-year low. And so these are tracking that this is like the 1990s was the last time stuff was in this case. Things were kind of this bad. So this is really, really scary because when I think about a 27-year low, this is really stuff that we need to think about. So I do want to make sure everyone knows that recently I did a talk. So Pete, if you can find the link to this, I'd love to put it in the chat. I did an analysis on the state of the industry in Hollywood, and my brother Pete helped do a lot of the research for this. This just came out a few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. It's worth a 30-minute watch. If you are a creative professional and you work in the Hollywood space, you should really watch this. If you are a creative professional and you don't work in the Hollywood space, you should still watch this. There's tremendous information and insight in this, and there are hundreds of hours of research all packed into this little 30-minute analysis. And you can get a lot of ideas from it, both ideas on how you can get out of a jam and also how you can take advantage of the changing tides. Now, there are actually two parts to this. The first part I did back in February. So in February at the Hollywood Professional Association, the HPA, I did an analysis there. This was the first analysis I had done of this kind. And something like 25,000 people watched it. Then I was asked by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce to do an update, and that happened just a few weeks ago. So check out part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is fresh. It's brand new. There's very relevant new data that's only a few weeks old, which is really great. And then part 1 represents a lot of the trends that were leading up to this. Part 1 is a little bit more of like historically, how did we get here? Part 2 shows where we are in the moment. So these are really good resources for you. They have nothing specifically to do with Strada, but that's okay because we care about the community. We're a part of this community. We really care about all creative professionals, and we want to arm people with information because sometimes that's one of the best weapons we have to make good decisions about a healthy future. Okay, moving on. I want to know if there's a brave soul out there that wants to try Strada for the first time with me. Look, I know that's scary. If you want to try Strada, I would love to do this live with you. And you just got to have the courage to do it. You don't have to go on camera, but you're going to have to email my brother and you're going to join a Zoom call and you're going to share your screen because I want other people to see what it's like to be able to get on for the first time. So we haven't done this in a few weeks, but we've done this before. We've had strangers sign up for Strada live and share their screen, and we actually transfer and playback files remotely. It's really, really powerful. It's really cool. So reach out to Pete right now. If that little bug is like, should I do this? I don't want to do it. I know you don't want to do it. That's normal because people are scared to be on live internet. But I want to see if there's someone out there brave enough to do that with us. We'd love to have you email Pete. Now, when it comes to some other news that we have, we are really excited about growing this product. We are passionate about this product. In fact, we started Strada 2.5 years ago, and we bootstrapped this thing. I put in the initial capital to get it going. We raised some money from friends and family. And if you look at my history, I've been a part of lots of technology developments for creative people. iPad dailies, mobile post-production, 8K cinema, camera to cloud. This is just a snapshot of a lot of the technology that I've helped pioneer and shepherd along with other people to help build businesses, scale those businesses, even sell those businesses, and help expand the community. Now, when you think about some of the businesses I've been a part of, I've been able to earn some accolades, earn some recognition, be a part of some groups. This is not an opportunity for me to brag about myself. What it is an opportunity for some of you to consider betting on Strada. And so what I mean by that is we are looking for people that want to invest in us. If you're interested in potentially investing in Strada, you can email invest@strada.tech, because we're about to open up an investment option for people like our clients. And we want to know, do clients want to invest in Strada? Look, think about it. You have lots of applications that you use, hardware and software, to do your jobs, but you might not own those tools at the company level. You simply are a customer of them. What if you could own a piece of the products that you use, especially when you have the opportunity to give feedback and you have the opportunity to help steer the technology to be better for you? That's what we're trying to do. And we want to find out, do users of Strada or people that believe in the mission that we have want to invest in it? If so, email invest@strada.tech. We'll get back to you, and we'll have more updates about our investment portfolio going forward, because we've got a really cool idea that we're starting to get off the ground, and we just want to do a taste test if people really want to be invested in us a little bit. Otherwise, you can always be a customer, and we hope to grow this business, and we hope you grow with us. But if you want to be an investor in it, there's an opportunity you don't hear every day from other companies. And so we're really excited to see if you want to do that. And if you've never been an investor before, this is the perfect opportunity to try. If you've never invested in a product or a company before, this is very easy. We're going to make it super simple, and you'll be able to invest pretty much any amount of money that you want. Like literally any amount of money it works for us. And so it'll be really easy for you to do that. Plus, you know us. And if you know us and you work in the industry, you're able to help shepherd the technology and the tools that you invest in. You start to get excited and you're like, I own a piece of this. You're going to want it to do well. You're going to want to use it and tell your friends. So it really works from a lot of different angles. So we're excited to consider that. So we invite you to do that. Okay, time for the product update. So the product update is really cool. We have a major update to our jobs panel. Our jobs panel is how you analyze and how you understand what is happening in our transfer experiences. Because when you're transferring files, you can transfer to and from. So remember, Strada is bi-directional. This is a really different product than WeTransfer and Google Drive and Dropbox. Strada works very differently. And one of the coolest things is you're able to manage transfers in any direction. You can push to people or pull from them. So it's almost like upload or download, but you're able to do it off of random computers. And so what our engineering team did is a great update to this. And I want to take a closer look at what the jobs panel looks like here. And so let me just skip to this right here. Yes. Okay. So if we look here at the jobs panel here, This is just a snapshot of one of the jobs panel, and I want to take you through a little bit of it, and then we're going to test it out and show you some of these values. So first off, you can see the user. That's actually a snapshot of Shannon, who's right on the other side of the door running this webinar right now. You can see the person that is initiating the job. Then you can see the source. So it happens to be Shannon's MacBook Pro. Now, this is important. The user, the actual person that is running the job, it doesn't have to be their computer. You can transfer jobs on other people's computers. When you try that, people's minds really start to open. What I'm saying sounds kind of obvious or trivial, but it isn't. When you do it, you're like, wait, that's different. See, you can transfer files that are on other people's computers with Strada. That's different. That means you can use, to use a big word, you can orchestrate transfers even when you're remote. So if you are a producer, a visual effects supervisor, a post-production supervisor, or an assistant editor, and you need to get files from point A to point B and you don't need them, you can use Strada to move files from one computer to another computer or one drive to another drive, and it doesn't go through you, which is really cool. So we have our user, we have our source, then we have our destination. So in this case, Shannon's MacBook Pro is transferring to the LA M4 Mac Studio. But then we have something really cool. Because Strada is bidirectional and you can transfer files, but also other people can transfer them, we have to have your jobs, which shows the transfers that you initiate, and we have to have others' jobs. Those are transfers that other people initiate. So when someone is transferring off my computer, I'm not even going to know it. But now there's a record that I can understand what happened because I didn't have to do anything. Think about that. Every time you transfer with Dropbox or Google Drive or Massive or WeTransfer or Signient or Aspera, the sender has to do all the work. Think about that. The receiver can't initiate their own transfers. The sender has to get the files, put them together, upload them to a cloud, send a link, and then the receiver can pull the files. With Strada, it's so much better. As a receiver, you can go to a computer, you can go to a drive, you can go to a folder, and you can pull just the files that you need. And now there's a record of that between monitoring your jobs and others' jobs. And then you get to see the total size of the transfer. We've updated that so you can actually see the capacity or the total size of the job. And then we've got this button, byte for byte checksum. We do an XX hash 64 checksum, which is a industry standard checksum, which is a verification that the files you intended to transfer actually transferred. And you're able to get that checksum. It's incredible. And then there's this great button the engineers put in, show in Strada, which basically reveals where the file actually lives, which is great. And so you have the ability to find where the files actually are. So I want to demonstrate this, and I want to know if there's a volunteer. Pete, let me know because I'd love to get someone on board. If not, I'm going to move on to the next step here because I want to actually demonstrate the jobs panel here. So check this out. I am in Strada right here. And I'm going to start. How am I going to do this? I'm going to start by going to my desktop, and I'm going to make a folder called 9, or what was today? Today is the 11th, Shannon. Is that what you said? Okay. So I made a folder called 11/11/25. Hopefully you can see that right there. So when I go into Strada, I am going to go all the way to this computer in Minnesota. So I can see there is a computer in Minnesota. The person who owns this computer, his name is Drew. He has no idea I am about to go into his computer and transfer this. Now, Drew has given me permission to this particular folder. So Drew doesn't need to know. He's already granted me permission to go into this folder. He's also granted, there's Drew's little icon right there. And so Drew has granted me permission as an admin to this folder. So he's given me that access. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this folder here, and I want to show you how many files are in here. There are 200 clips in this directory here. You can see it just goes on and on and on. And by the way, I'll show you one very cool trick that a lot of people don't know. Once the player loads here, you can use your command and arrow key, or if it's Windows, you can use control and arrow. And if I hit play and I use the control and arrow key, you can see how fast I can move through these assets. I'll make the files even smaller. Look at this. I can just drive through, and hopefully you can see how fast. And by the way, it's playing back. So every time I go to a new take, it plays back. And if I scroll up to the top and click there, and you can see how fast I can move through this. This is about as fast as it would be if it were local. There is no cloud in the world that can rifle through quicks this quickly, and I can just navigate with my keyboard, and it just keeps playing back. I mean, it's really, really remarkable. So this is just a very cool feature. But you can see here, I've got 200 clips in this Planet Earth folder. So watch what's going to happen here. I'm going to right click on the Planet Earth folder, and I'm going to go to my desktop. Remember, I am accessing a folder in Minnesota, which is about 2,000 miles from where I am right now. I'm going to go to my shares, and I see 1111. So remember, I just made that folder 1111, and I have a button that says transfer here. Watch what happens. When I hit transfer here, now I can go to the jobs panel, and we see a little number 1 here, and we see a job is about to transfer. And here we can see the job transferring 200 files going through. And if I pop up my Finder here you can see the jobs actually loading in to my Finder. So these files are transferring from Minnesota to Los Angeles, and I am getting a transfer experience right now. If you're using Dropbox, if you're using WeTransfer, if you're using Signient or Aspera or Google Drive, you got to try Strada. It's so much better. There's so much more control, and you have way better features. So now check this out. Now I can be anywhere in my computer. Let's just say I'm going to go to a completely different directory here. And if I go back to the jobs panel, I can see first it's been transferred. So I get a green checkbox. The transfer is complete. I can see it went from Minnesota to my computer. And this is really cool. If I want to check the verification, I can click the I and say download checksum. And now I literally have a checksum here of every file that was transferred. If I open this up in numbers here or Excel, you can see that easily there are 200 files. And if I scroll all the way down, I know this is tiny, but there it is, 200 files right there, all transferred. And then these are the file paths. And then this is the actual checksum, which is the XX hash 64. So you can see the file name, you can see the source, you can see how many there were, 200 files just transferred. And I have the checksum. So this is a great way to verify if you need a receipt for a large transfer. We've shown a couple of ways. 1, we get a green checkbox. 2, I could look at the source or the destination, and I could see all 200 files are there. And 3, there's a new way I can hit show in Strada. So remember, if I am in a different location right now, and I saw a transfer and I said, oh, where was that footage? I can click show in Strada and it'll take me right there. Look at where it did. Minnesota Mac Mini, Strada Mini, Planet Earth. So it took Strada Media, Planet Earth. So it took me directly to where the source material was. So you have sort of a reveal in Finder. If you're an editor, you kind of remember that trick, reveal in Finder. This is sort of Strada's version of reveal in Finder. So I can really quickly find my way back to the original. So the verification experience now has gotten way better, and we can see that it's done. Now, remember, there are 2 buttons here. There is your job. So I did this initiation. I did this job. And then there is others' jobs. Well, what's others' jobs again? Remember, in Strada, it's bidirectional, which means you can pull files, but other people can pull or push files. So you have this network effect. Some people call Strada the social network of media, something like that. Social network for your media. And so if you think about it as a social network, when you have lots of nodes, you have other people. And look at this. when I go through here, I can see Shannon. This was called Sawtooth, I think. There's more Shannon transfers. I forget who this is. This was someone else. This is Larry Jordan. And this was someone else. So I can see these different people actually did their transfers. And so if I wanted to check out those transfers, I can go into my history here and I could say, show me the source of this, and it'll take me right to wherever that source is. And so this is the power of the other's job. So I know Shannon did a transfer. Now look at this. This is really cool. Shannon did a transfer from her computer to the Mac Studio, but she did not bring it to her computer. She transferred from the Mac to the LA Mac Studio. My computer's not in the mix, but if I wanted to see that, I could click this and it would take me there up, except Shannon's agent's not online, even though I thought it was. That's my bad, Shannon. I shouldn't have clicked on that. Yeah, you probably have to toggle, right? Anyway, I just, there's a bug we're working on. There's always a bug we're working on, but that's what that was. But the information is good there. Now, if I look at this example, whoops, let me zoom out here and I go down here, I can see a transfer from Margot's MacBook Pro to my computer. And if I click show in Strada, it will take me to the original Margot transfer. So there's Margot, her drive is a pro grade. She had something for me to review. And now I can play that back. And so I can see this. So I'm literally playing this file off of Margot's computer. And I'm using, the way I found it is a record of a transfer. Right? Like, how cool is that? I have a record of a transfer. I can use that to take me back to the source, which is on Margot's computer. I'm now playing this file off Margot's computer. If I needed a copy of it, I could hit download. And now if I were to download or transfer that, I could transfer that to my desktop. And what do you think is going to happen? Well, we're going to see a new transfer happen here. There's the little one that shows up there. Here comes the new transfer. And if I look at my desktop here, we're going to see the transfer. So here is the file transferred onto my desktop. You can see that right there. I've got that file on my desktop now, and the transfer has been finished and verified. Greg says, what's the technology difference between Strada and a product like Signient? Well, Signient is a cloud, so you have to upload files into Signient before a recipient can download them. So the biggest difference here is time, because you have to upload before you can download, and cost. You have to store it in a cloud and pay for it to be stored there in order for it to be delivered. So the advantage of a cloud is that I could, if I have a laptop, as I do in this case, I could close my laptop after I've uploaded, and a recipient could get the file out of a cloud like Signient. But the downside to that is you have to pay for that extra storage, and you have to wait to upload it before you can download it. With Strada, just leave your laptop open and people can just pull files all they want. And remember, because it's not a cloud, we don't charge for storage, so you don't have to pay for that. And because you don't have to put it in a cloud, you don't have to upload it before you download it. You could just pull it. You could just transfer it live. Also, Signient doesn't have a player. Dropbox kind of has a player, but Signient and Aspera, Massive, they don't have players. And so Strada allows you to move files around without having to be blinded, right? You can see the files. You can audit the files. What do I need? What do I need to prioritize? That could be a big deal right there. If you have to transfer a lot of files, if you can see them, you might be able to, A, not transfer them all because you can see them, B, transfer the ones you need first, so you prioritize them, and C, set a batch of transfers, and you can actually set them in a queue, get the files you need first, and eliminate the files you don't need at all. Tom says, how is it different than LucidLink? Can I drag the files from Strada into my Premiere timeline? All right, Tom, it's a great question. It's totally fair, and I want to be really honest here. Tom, we are actively building exactly that. We have been able to, and Tom, I don't know if you're not a user of Strada or you're not signed up, I want to invite you to sign up right now and go to strada.tech in Chrome, sign up right now, and send your email to my brother. I want to invite you to this experience because I want you to feel this. I want you to feel what it's like to experience a file that's really far away. This is a file in, and I'm going to make the point that you asked about LucidLink here. This is a Facilis drive in Boston, Massachusetts. That's 3,000 miles from where I am. And I can go into that Facilis and I can click on this set of surfing files. And now the Facilis is going to launch these files and it's going to virtualize them to me here in about 3 seconds. There it is. And now I have that power to go around and actually go through clip by clip by clip by clip by clip. And I can go through these clips and I am virtualizing these files. They act like they're here. A few weeks ago, we had a good friend of mine, Clyde, and Clyde was sharing some footage. Where is Clyde's computer? Clyde was sharing some cool footage right here. And this was a really cool piece that he made in Denver, Colorado. No, I'm sorry. It was Pikes Peak, Colorado. What is that? Colorado Springs. And here you can see he's got this cool piece. It's 15 gigabytes. And if I turn the sound off, I can play back a 4K piece of this great piece that Clyde's company Origin Point made about someone who is a paraplegic and a race car driver and drove up Pikes Peak. And I can see the ProRes. This is a 15 gigabyte ProRes playing off Clyde's computer. So Tom, we are virtualizing this file, which I can, by the way, skip to the end, skip to the middle. I can play it back at 4x speed, 8x speed. You see that? And now it's 8 times speed. So I can go through and play these files back and really just experience. Let me go to, will it play back 8 times speed? There we go. Playing back at 8x speed there. So I have the ability to play these files back as if they're local, Tom. If I click to the end, I click to the beginning, I click at the very end, you can see the files act like they're here. What you want to do, Tom, is you want to just drag and drop this right into Premiere or Final Cut or Resolve, right? I get that. Tom, that's exactly what we're building. We are building that. And I want to show you. I'm going to go to the Strada website. And here's a little secret. At the top of the Strada website, there is a button for vision. This is our vision. I'm going to click on the vision page here. And I want to show you, Tom, this is our roadmap. First, we're going to be building a license manager. This is a way that you could license other people into a Strada account. So if you had a team of 5, you could buy 5 licenses and you could change those licenses out with anyone you want and exchange them. So that license manager is a priority that we've heard from users that want that. So we're building that. But number 2, look at this, virtual file system. Let me read it. Drag and drop clips from any Strada connected drive directly into your favorite applications, even when you're remote. Drag and drop clips from any Strada connected drive into your favorite application. That would mean all of the files on a drive, and you can see in my account, right? I've got drives in, what did I say? This is in Orange County. One of these was in Minnesota. I've got stuff in Boston, right? All of this material could be dragged and dropped directly into a timeline. We've proven that we can virtualize files anywhere in the world in record speed. Like, it's incredible, our tech. When people play this back, they're floored by how powerful and fast this experience works. But they want to edit it. We understand that. We hear you. And so if you look at my desktop here, Strada is going to eventually be right here as a drive. Strada will look like a drive just like this, and just like this, or even like LucidLink. Remember, LucidLink is a virtual file system, except it's in a cloud. So you have to upload to LucidLink first. Strada, you don't have to. Strada, you'll be able to just drag the files from other people's computers, and people ask, how will I search for files? You'll just search right here, because you can search in the Finder, because Strada will be surfaced in the Finder. And then you can just take your clips and drag them directly into your editing systems and start working. That's the vision. And that's literally on our vision page right here. And we really want you to believe in it. So, Tom, I'm asking you to sign up for Strada, become a user, and everyone else. We need you to be a part of this for our journey. We need users for this to grow, and we need users to help us expand our business, and we need people to test this technology. It's so crazy. And we also need people to understand the Strada overall vision. We're building a platform, not a point solution. That means we have to put down all this foundational work. And today, installing a Strada agent, if you haven't done that, this is the Strada agent. You need to get into this and learn how to use the agent dashboard where you select folders and drives. And once you connect them into Strada, this is part of how the Strada virtual file system, Strada VFS, that's how it will work. And then there are always going to be times that you want to transfer files. Even when we virtualize files, you'll still need to transfer them at some point. So this is an opportunity for you to learn how our transfer technology works. If you're using Signiant, Dropbox, WeTransfer, Massive, Google Drive, even Frame.io to move files, stop doing it and use Strada instead. It's faster, it's clearer, it's more self-service, and it has this great player experience. And now we've made all these updates to our jobs panel. Eric asks, how many users can play back at the same time? How powerful of a computer do you need? Eric, that is a great question. I have an answer. I will show you. If we go to this secret little button in our website, I go to workflow, configure. And if we look at workflow, I'm going to go to the bottom first. We did tests with ProRes 444XQ, and we did 4K files. They're about 1 gigabyte per second. So ProRes 444XQ is about the biggest, heaviest ProRes you can get. It's a very big, heavy file. Then we tested it on all these computers from M1s to M4s. And you can see here how they did. And you look in the middle, the M3 Studio Ultra did 20 streams of ProRes 4K. Pete, if you could put in the chat, there is a YouTube episode where we actually break this down, and we had 20 friends of Strada join a live event, and that's how we tested this. We actually did it live and recorded it. So you can actually see the story. And it's a YouTube video that YouTube's a big place. There is nothing on YouTube like this video. It is very different, and it is very cool that it's a live recording of this really cool experience. Now, if you have a really small computer like a MacBook Air, you can still have 3 simultaneous streams of ProRes 4K. And if you have something in the middle like an M4 Studio Max, 12 streams of ProRes 4K. The point is, when you all have agents, right? You have these Strada agents installed on your computers, and you're moving files to and from, you have literally dozens and dozens and dozens of potential live experiences with these files. So you can always be expanding the size of your network, and that just makes the system stronger and stronger and able to play back. Most of the time, you won't even know it's ever happening. When someone's playing a file and browsing your drive, you wouldn't even know. And that's part of the beauty of it. It's just totally invisible, and good technology should be invisible. I really believe that. And so this is an important experience where we're really demonstrating that, which is really, really cool. So, and by the way, remember I did a transfer a second ago. This was the transfer from Margot's computer to my desktop. I can also see the checksum. Remember, this was only one file transfer, so there'd only be one line for this checksum. And if I wanted to show it in Strada, it will take me back to Margot's computer on her ProGrade drive for review. This is an external drive connected to Margot's computer, and I still have access to it there, or I can now see it on my desktop. Very cool. 313 Media Life says, I know you're doing demoing Strada with Final Cut. How does it work with or support Adobe? I know Adobe's a problematic application. Well, look, if you want to use Adobe, that's totally fine. Strada works outside of all the NLEs today. So today you have to transfer files from a hard drive somewhere to the editor. So whether you're editing in Final Cut, Avid, Resolve, or Premiere, or even a product like Vegas or something like that, or Sequence, these are all nonlinear editing solutions, but you got to get the media to it. Today, to deliver that media, you use Strada to transfer the files. That way, media can be at a hotel where they're shooting on location, and they can transfer the files directly to the editor. Then you just bring the files in, and it doesn't matter if it's Premiere or Final Cut or Resolve or Avid. But if you want to use our virtual file system, which is where we're headed, this virtual file system experience, it still won't matter. You don't need a panel. You don't need a magic experience. The files just appear on your desktop, just like a drive. If you connect a drive to your desktop, the files appear, you import them into your editor. Strada will work exactly the same way. And we are trying to get this ready for you as soon as possible, which is why we need you to get on our product today, start getting to know us, because early adopters will get access to the beta. And we need editors willing to try a virtual file system that works off drives, not cloud, drives. We need you to join our product and help us make sure that it's working. We are building a lot of integrations. In fact, we actually are improving our Avid Nexus integration. In fact, right here, this is actually an Avid Nexus, this little Z drive here. And if I click on ProRes, there are some problems with it, like I'm not getting thumbs, but I think I still can get the video to play. I think so. So there are one of the things that we're trying to do. So maybe not yet. I don't know. We're still working on Avid Nexus as a experience with Strada. So we want to support all of the tools, and Nexus is one of the things we're working on at the moment. Okay. Before I finish up today, there was the other thing I wanted to share. A couple people were asking about permissions during the week, because people are concerned about everyone having access to their drives. So I want to be clear. Strada connects a drive, but you don't invite people by connecting a drive. You invite people by navigating to a folder and inviting them directly. And so that's a different experience. And when you invite people, you have 5 levels of permissions. Owner is whoever owns the drive. That's the highest. Admin is someone who is allowed to invite people to that. So you would only use admin with someone you really trust, because they could invite other people to one of your drives that you own. Editor means you have permission to move the files from one computer to another, and you could transfer that file around. This is great for a lot of users to be able to orchestrate the movement of files. And then download means you're giving permission for someone to actually localize the file and download it. And then view only is great for clients where they can review files, but they can't download anything. And so it's really cool. And watch how easy it is to set up. If I navigate, I'll go to this computer in Colorado, which is actually in my mother's house. My mother is an unknowing participant in all of our demonstrations. If I go into this folder of HEVC clips, I can hit the plus button, and let's see, I'll go to Austin here and see Austin has permission as a downloader, but I'm going to only give him permission as a viewer, and I can change his permission. And now Austin's only able to view these clips. He would not have the little download option. He would not be able to transfer these files because he's a viewer only. He could play them back. As you see here, I can play back. I can click around these 4K files, but Austin now does not have the ability to localize them. Seth says, is there any difference with integrating Strada with Resolve versus other NLEs? Resolve's currently my favorite editing platform. Resolve's come a long way. They work really hard to make that. They really are in it to win it. And obviously, they are the benchmark of color correction, and they've added a great editor as well. No, there is no downside for our Strada virtual file system. It will just appear on your desktop, just like connecting any hard drive. And you just got to think of it like that. You don't edit without hard drives. You have to have hard drives with footage on them. That's how we edit. Everybody knows that. Strada is going to pretend to be a hard drive connected to your computer. But in reality, that hard drive could be anywhere in the world. In fact, you could invest in an M4 Mac Mini, leave it at home, and connect your hard drives to it. And then you could take your laptop anywhere and edit off the drives on your Mac Mini, which means you could buy like a really big OWC Thunder Bay, hundreds of terabytes, that could be on your Mac Mini, and you could edit anywhere. And based on the stats we showed here, if you had an M4 Mac Mini, you could have 5 people editing off that computer at the same time. 5 editors off of a $500 Mac Mini connected with a drive. That's what we're talking about. It's crazy. That's crazy. Do you realize how inexpensive that is? Like, we are building this right now. When this comes out, it will be so inexpensive compared to any remote editing solution. It shouldn't be believable. People will have trouble believing there's no catch. But that's what good tech is. It should be, it should make people feel like this is impossible. Like, that's the most exciting thing we're doing. So we're really excited about doing that. 313 Media says, how does the Strada virtual file system work with a NAS like QNAP? I have terabytes and would love to edit directly off that drive when not at the office. I think it would just run a Strada agent on the Mac Mini and share the network volumes through Strada. You are understanding it exactly correctly. You can start today because you could install an agent like this right here. And if I had a QNAP, QNAP would show up right here because it would be on my desktop, and then I could check the blue box, and then QNAP would show up in Strada. Now, the beauty of that is that you would be able to access your QNAP on your phone. In fact, if you do this right now, 313 Media, watch this. If you were here earlier, you should remember that I made a folder on my desktop. I'll remind you where it was. I made a folder called 1111. Hopefully you can see that. This is on my desktop. There's a folder called Strada Shares, 1111, Planet Earth, and there's 200 clips in this Planet Earth document on my desktop. Watch this. I can go into Strada, and that could be a QNAP, and I could click on my desktop, and I can see Strada Shares, and then I can see 1111, and what do you know? Planet Earth. All the files that I transferred there are all here. Now, I don't know if you remember where these files came from. Let's go back to Strada and figure that out. Well, if we go back to Strada and we see the transfer, oh, look, it was from Minnesota. Where was it? Well, let me show in Strada, and it'll take me right there. Now I am back at Minnesota, Strada Media, Planet Earth. Okay, well, let's go there. I'm going to go in my phone, by the way. I'm going to go to Minnesota, Strada Media, and what do you know? There it is, Planet Earth. This is exactly the source. So we are now playing back the source files in Minnesota on my phone. So 313 Media, you install a Strada agent today, you're able to access your entire QNAP on your phone, and I can rifle through all my clips just by swiping like this, and you're not going to find a cloud that's going to move this fast. And obviously, you don't want to upload terabytes of media to a cloud. That's why you bought a QNAP in the first place. So the QNAP is in play today with Strada. It works right now. And then you'll be able to mount. So I'll give you a little preview. If I go to the Strada agent, there's going to be a button to mount as a virtual file system. It'll be in here. The agent's getting redesigned right now. There'll be a button to add it as a virtual file system. When you click that button, it will show up right here on your desktop, and that can be invited to other people. So you would go into Strada, you would go to that QNAP drive, and you would invite other people, and then they could access the files on their computers, right? So your QNAP becomes a cloud. Your NAS will become a cloud, and you'll be able to access those files anywhere. So I want to invite you, 313 Media, to try it today and start learning how to connect files, connect computers to each other, play and transfer. You want to do all that. You want to learn our permissions. You want to learn the whole jobs panel. We went over the jobs transfer panel. It's pretty awesome. I got to say, it's really good. Our designer, Kira, did an amazing job on the design. Pallavi did an amazing job on the integration. And there's actually more work being done to make this even better, which is coming very soon. I can't wait to show you. And then Austin and the other team are working on file virtualization for early next year. And we need early adopters to help us with that. So those are really what we're all about. So When it comes to pricing, this is also what's really exciting. Strada has free plans. We call those the review plans. That's available for anyone today. If anyone wants to be on a free plan, you can connect as many drives as you want, unlimited files. You can watch and view as many files as you want. Totally unlimited. That's totally fine. You're allowed to transfer 15 gigabytes a month. Call it an emergency transfer. In fact, if I switch back to my phone again, imagine I really needed for Instagram this frog. I like this picture of this frog. I really need it. I can hit the download button. I could be on the free plan and watch what happens at the bottom of my phone. It downloads it. I could say, save this video. And now that is going to show up in my Photos app. And there you can see I've got this frog shot right there. So I pulled that right from a drive in Minnesota, by the way. This is in Minnesota. Remember, look, there. That's where the files are. So I'm able to pull those files from Minnesota and watch this. I can even do this with stills. This is a great trick for social media teams. I can log into social posts. I can see for stills if I'm going to post this. I can actually post a file directly from Minnesota to Instagram. Watch this. I'm going to grab this cool shot of an Ursa 12K, and I'm going to say, I'm going to want to post this to Instagram. This file is in Minnesota. It's going to cache it here locally, and it'll give me my share sheet. And now I could go to Instagram. I could go to a post, and I'm literally in Instagram right now building a post, which I don't want to do. I don't want to do that live, so I'm going to cancel that. But that is real. Like, I'm literally transferring a file to Instagram from Minnesota, and I'm accessing a drive remotely. Like, that is so powerful for creative marketing teams. And you gotta just get out of your antiquated, sloppy way of sharing and transferring files and your messy Dropboxes and your super messy Google Drives and your expensive WeTransfers and stuff, and start using a creative platform, a collaboration creative platform that's peer-to-peer. Now, for pricing on paid plans, we have two paid plans. They're almost the same. The basic plan, $12 a month, allows you to transfer 250 gigs from any computer to any computer. So if you're doing proxies, you can move 250 gigs all day long. And then we have an unlimited plan. If you need to move more than 250 gigs, you can move 250 terabytes. So 250 terabytes you could transfer for a flat fee. There is no product out there that's going to let you transfer through the cloud for a flat fee. Nobody's doing that. So you could transfer all the terabytes you wanted with Strada on an unlimited plan. Plus, we give you the enhanced permissions of view only. So on the unlimited plan, you can control who can see what, a little bit more professional. So that's important. Emery's Robert says, what are you guys doing to support B-Raw? Well, Emery's, if you check this out, if we go back to our vision page and I scroll down right here, in the year 2026, we are working to start supporting RAW files. Now, this is a big deal, Emery's, because if you think about it, there is no product that allows you to look at a RAW file in a web browser. Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Arc, Brave, they do not let you debayer RAW files, right? Like actual RAW files like BRAW, ProRes RAW, Red Code, Airy RAW, Sony XOCN, Canon RAW. Those are RAW formats you can't actually, debayer and view in a browser. But we're going to be the first to do that. So we are working to make BRAW decodable for 2026. But also we want to do Red Code. We want to do XOCN. We also want to do still formats. Think about this for the still community. All those Canon RAW files, Nikon RAW files, right? We want people to be able to, Fuji RAW files. We want people to view those files correctly in the browser and then be able to drag and drop them. I mean, you're going to be able to drag and drop files from your Finder to each other. It's going to make AirDrop look like a joke. It's so much better. By the way, you could drag and drop files from desktop to desktop across an ocean, Mac to Windows. That's what we're building. It's really profound, which is why if you're interested in investing and you think this is pretty cool stuff, you should invest, because today's Strada is as cheap as it will ever be. At least that's our hope. So This is the pricing. You should get on it now. There are discounts available if you want to buy annual plans. We have made this product so affordable. And look, I want a big shout out to our engineering team. We're coming on this show every week, every Tuesday, and almost every other Tuesday, every 2 to 3 weeks, we're showing something totally new. This team is on fire with product development. We are tight. We have a great feedback loop from our customers. We are in touch with all of you, and we want to get you on there. Part of how we do that is through Discord. So my brother Peter can put a link in Discord so that we can connect with you. We need to hear your feedback. We need your feature requests. We need your problems. We need your bugs. We need your survey results. This all helps us make sure we're building the right product for you. And so we're really excited to get your insight. And this is where we also make product announcements. And there'll be some beta opportunities for some brave souls that want to start experimenting with the next flavor of Strada. So we need you on that. And we need you to think about joining that. We also are available for one-on-one demos. If you are spending time, with Dropbox, Google Drive, WeTransfer, Frame.io, Massive, Signient, then you really should at least schedule a one-on-one meeting with us and let us take you through the steps, take you through the product, take you through our roadmap so that you can get interested now, start learning how the tool works, start utilizing the tool, and then you can see how far this is going to go. So we want you to schedule time with us. We love meeting customers one-on-one and going through the steps together. So that's what I wanted to cover today. I am so thankful for the people that reached out and had questions and feedback. Thank you for doing that. We are really, really excited about this future. Please try the new transfer tool, start doing some transfers, experiment and experience how we can now show the source files in Strada, and you can download your checksums. And I'm talking doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of transfers. You could transfer thousands of files. In fact, one of our clients, Kyle Chappelle, transferred 35,000 files and in one transfer, and he's got a checksum now to prove it. And so this is really, really exciting about where this goes, where you could be doing huge batches of files, and it's a flat rate to do that from computer to computer, from a client to a customer, from a customer to an editor, from a cinematographer on set to the cutting room in post, wherever it is, you're able to make that work. And it's really, really exciting. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope everyone has a great day. I'll see you on Discord. Bye, everyone.